Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome back to the second episode of the Dig Out of Debt series here on Gage, Kentucky. I do hope you're all doing very well and having a brilliant day. So, like I said we would be doing during the last episode, we're picking up pretty much moments after the last episode ended because we do have to cut the wheat. We're in August, of course. We've only got to the end of this in-game day to get the wheat harvested, and we do have some rain forecast, as you can see from the icon there in the top right. The rain is forecast to come at around about 5 o'clock this evening, so we've only got a few hours to get that done. It might seem like quite a long time, but it's a decent-sized field. But it's also a relatively small harvester, so I think it's going to take a good few hours. Plus, we need to get the straw picked up as well after that. The straw is being used for the fuel for the corn dryer, of course, so we will be getting it. We will be spending the time baling the straw, picking the bales up and loading them into there. Obviously, I don't have a pick-up forage wagon thing to pick the loose straw up, so we do have to bale the straw up and then move them from there to there. Whether I load them onto the trailer and then move the trailer over here and unload them into the dryer, I don't know, or whether I just throw the auto bale loader thing on the front of the tractor here and just pull them out the field 4x4. Probably do something like that. Maybe that'll work a little bit quicker, but we shall see. But either way, that's the first job that we need to get done really in this in-game day. Other jobs that I do want to get done, because I did say in the last episode that it's initially anyway, it's going to be finding the balance between looking after our own land and managing what we need to do for our own farm, and managing the time doing that, and also taking on as many contracts as we can. But I feel I do need to get this done first, and also make a start in cultivating the big grass field that I newly discovered in the last episode. Even I hadn't actually appreciated that I owned that big plot of land. So having mowed the grass in the last episode, we do have a pretty decent sizable bit of land there to take advantage of and get cultivated and get some seed drilled. Now, when it comes to seeds, September next month we can drill barley, canola, and wheat. So there's a bit of something to choose from there. Let's get that reversed up. So yeah, we've got that to think about, what crop to plant. But taking advantage of that huge area of land is definitely something that I need to do. So we need to get the cultivator out, activate the create fields option. We do have a plough as well, but I think just for saving myself an extra job initially, I'd like to. I'll just create a field with a cultivator and do all that, and then we've got the land ready to drill next month. So if we got that done now, that's going to save me a bit of time next month, and then next month, essentially, what I can think about doing. Why did I just lower that header down? I bought this in here so that I can come to the workshop here and repair it. So what's this going to cost to repair? $882. That's not too bad. There we go. Excellent stuff. We might need, we need to repair that as well for 157. How much is that? We may as well get this repaired while we're here, aren't we, as well? 1010. What's everything else at? That's okay. Boom, boom, boom. Right, yeah, that's okay. I did give the 4440 here a bit of a wash in between episodes. Looking forward to getting that used. But if we just jump out of here, I do also need to fuel it up. So if we just pull up next to the tank here, yep, let's refuel that. Nice. There we go. Right, ready to rock and roll. So let's get out to the field and start getting this wheat harvested. But yeah, like I say, I want to get that field that was grass cultivated, turn it into some good arable land, and then we're ready to drill it essentially. And then come September next month, when we'll get that field drilled. We have also got the other area of grass at the down the lane in front of us there. We can get that cut and also turn that to arable land as well, potentially. And once we've got a load of bales out of that, that'll then look after the cows and the sheep and the goats for the forthcoming months. And turn that to arable land and get get some seed drilled in there as well. Hopefully bolstering our income in the future. We'll see what we can get for this wheat. I'll load it into the silo first and foremost, I feel, and then we can establish what it's worth. See where best sell time is. Let's drop the header down. There we go. Turn that on. Nice. I've got the straw swath activated. But yeah, I think this is going to take a little bit of time, let's be honest. and I've opted to go for the little John Deere tractor to run the trailer. I'm looking forward to seeing how that copes with it. I could run the 7810, but I quite fancy just seeing how the other one will do the job. So there we go. I'm just going to get everything set up first. So we got that there. Just check the straw swath is running. There we are. That's good. But yeah, the little can't remember the name of it. Is it the 4090? I think it is. The little John Deere thing. Cracking little tractor though, it really is. But one of the things I think I've done, I think I might have shot myself in the foot. I did obviously explain to everyone that I'd, in order to reduce my temptation to sell equipment to scrape a bit of money back into the bank, I have 4020, not 4090, sorry. Yeah, in order to reduce my temptation to sell equipment and get money back into the bank in order to pay off our vast debt, I've given all of the equipment that we have thousands of work hours. So as you can see from the little from our heads-up display there, this machine currently has 14,271 work hours on, which kind of, it's fitting for an old machine like this. You know, we've taken on this farm that was technically owned by somebody else, so it kind of makes sense. But what it has actually done, it has obviously it's made this so that it accumulates wear and damage much quicker. So we're already, I think, about 17 or 18% damaged after me fixing it in the last episode. Yes, we did a little bit of work with it, but I wouldn't have expected it to necessarily accumulate that much more damage already so quickly. So yeah, so I may well end up having to spend more money than I'd thought of on maintenance, keeping these things running. But the good thing is, I do have a couple of mods running that do, like the shop mods, for example. So if we jump into the used vehicle sale, I've got quite a lot to choose from here. And already actually thinking about things, there's the likes of this. There's a Fendt here that's on sale at 44% off at $43,474, which is pretty cool. There's a few others, 30 grand for another 3650 there. But yeah, I've got quite a few to choose from, which is great. Another 40 series here, 26, just under 30,000, 27,000, sorry. So yeah, there's a few deals to be had in the shop, but I'm not necessarily going to do anything with those yet. I want to enjoy the equipment that I have chosen to start this series off with initially. So I'll just muscle through with it, as it were. But yes, so need to crack on first and foremost and get this wheat harvested, get it into the silo, establish what it's all going to be worth and when is going to be best to sell it. The difference between selling things now and selling things at the optimum sell time. We'll see what that price difference will be. We'll get the straw loaded up, but I'll no doubt speak to you before then. Initially, I'm going to throw the harvesting and loading into the silo with this thing here into a bit of a cinematic, throw a bit of music behind it. So I'll catch you all in a wee while.
She's a little bit crazy on the weekends, dancing in her red dress, and I love the way she looks in my eyes, and I'm feeling like midnight's getting closer, and I just wanna hold her in my arms till the sun comes up. She's a little bit country, yeah, she's my country girl. She's a little bit country, yeah, she's my country girl. She can let her hair down, but got her feet on the ground. I can't get enough of her. She can drive me so wild, just with that sweet smile, and there's nobody else for me. My heart starts racing every time I'm looking at her. She's my country girl. I couldn't tell you what she's doing to me. She's so damn out of my league. She's a little...
Right, quick update for you now. We're just about finishing the final headland, number 5, and so far it's not too bad. The yields we've been pulling out are about they range from anywhere from 65 to 90% on this field in its current state at the minute, with no nitrogen or lime on here or anything like that. But so far it's not been too bad. We've currently got 34,000 litres of wheat over in the silo. Well, that's another 10,000 making its way over there now in the tractor and trailer there. So, and it's currently worth, this is quoting best sell time, just over $14,000. So not too bad really. I mean, like I say, we're just finishing the final headland, so we've got quite a bit to go. Just under 2 hours worth according to course play. But I'm going to hazard a guess and say roughly anywhere, somewhere up to about 50 grand's worth of grain in the silo, perhaps, by the time we're done. Give or take a bit. That is a very, very wild guesstimate, but it's nice to have a bit of a go anyway. So we'll see how close we are how close that guess was anyway, when we're finished. So anyway, like I say, a couple of hours to go. I'm going to knuckle down and crack on, and I'll see you when it's done.
She's a little bit crazy on the weekends, dancing in her red dress, and I love the way she looks in my eyes. And I'm feeling like midnight's getting closer, and I just wanna hold her in my arms till the sun comes up. She's a little bit country, yeah, she's my country girl. She's a little bit country, yeah, she's my country girl.
Well, we're all done, and as you can see, I lost the race with the rain by about 20 minutes or so. The rain pretty much came on the dot at 5 o'clock, so I only had a couple of up and down rows to do, so got the job finished off. We've not done too bad, and my guesstimation wasn't too far off. I was a little bit off with it, but if I jump into time-saving stock check, as you can see, we have got 156,919 litres of wheat in the silo now. Worth, at best sell time, 63,000, or just as near as makes no difference, 64 grand. So, what did I say, 50 grand? So I was a little bit off, but still, 64 grand coming in January. It's currently worth 45 grand, so we're definitely going to be holding on to that till January, because we need to keep hold of as much money as possible to start paying off our colossal $1 million debt. So, now I know obviously it's chucking it down with rain. I do still have to get the straw picked up. Now, I'm pretty sure in real life, I think, you know, you'd leave this out in the field to wait for the rain to stop and let the weather naturally dry it out before you pick it up. But because this is going for fuel, essentially, this is going to be essentially just thrown into a furnace and set fire to dry the corn in the fullness of time. I'm not going to worry about holding on to that element of realism in that respect. I'm just going to get it picked up, baled up, and thrown into the corn dryer, and then it's there and the job's done. Because then when we finish with August, which I will be doing when that straw pickup job is done, we then move into September, the first of our 2-day months, and then we can really start getting to work. Now, I'm really keen to get working on some contracts and get some money into the bank and starting to pay down our debt. But as I've said a couple of times, I do want to focus firstly and just get our land sorted. So we want to create the field in the big patch of land over there that we mowed in the last episode. I want to get some arable land created there. We need to run the cultivator in this field as well once the straw's picked up and the weather's right, and of course, and then September being the time that we can drill a handful of crops, of course, as well. So we need to focus on that, get the soil prepped, get some lime spreads and all that kind of stuff. And then go from there, and then we can focus on getting some contracts done and get some money into the bank. We will have the whole of September to deal with our own land, mow that other patch of grass down there, the other big area of land, and get some seed drilled into the ground as well. We've got the whole of September to do that. The corn harvest isn't going to be happening till October, so we've got a bit of time before we need to attack that field. So yeah, that's the game plan moving forward, as it were. But when it comes to this straw picking up, I'm going to get it done off camera. I'm just going to faff around now and get it all sorted, and then once this rain's sorted and gone, because the weather, if we jump into the forecast and have a very brief look, as you can see here, September has given some kind of rain, but as you can see from the initial forecast, from 3 a.m. onwards right the way through till 3 p.m, we've got dry weather. We've got sun right up until, kind of 11 o'clock, and then a bit of cloud coverage. So the first chunk of tomorrow at least is looking good, and we can crack on with some work. And I think the first of that work will be get some cultivation done. So I'm going to crack on here, like I say, get this straw picked up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick you up first thing in the morning, and we'll have a quick run past the corn dryer. We'll see what quantity of straw that we've got loaded in there from here, and then we'll crack on with a bit of work. So, see you all very shortly. Good morning, folks. Figured I'd get up nice and bright and early, 10 to 6 in the morning. We've got a wealth of work to crack on with, and Tell you what, it'd be nice to wake up to a tray of donuts every day, wouldn't it? Wouldn't start us off on a very healthy note, would it? But still, it would be nice. Say bright and early. It's early. It's getting bright, hopefully. The weather looks like we've got a bit of sunshine for the next couple of hours, so we're going to crack on with the cultivating. Now, of course, I got on with the straw work last night, got it all baled up and stuffed into the corn dryer here. It was a bit weird, if I'm honest, baling up and dealing with straw in the tipping rain, because obviously with FARMERSIM being the way it is, you could clearly see that it was wet. It had that nice wet sheen to the straw as I was picking it up, so it did feel a bit wrong. But still, like I said, it's not important because it's fuel for drying corn, of course. So it's just going to get stuffed in here. Well, it has been stuffed in here and set on fire, so that's all good. But as you can see from the readout in the bottom right there, we've got just over 487,000 litres of the stuff, so that's great. Now, based on the ratio that this corn dryer uses for corn and straw to create dried corn, it uses 5,000 litres of corn, uses 2,000 litres of straw to burn to create dried corn. So based on that quantity, we've got enough in here to cover us for 1.2 million litres of corn, which is great. I'm almost certain we're not going to get anything like that off the field. So as far as I'm concerned at the minute, we've got more than enough straw in here to deal with what we're going to get off the cornfield in a couple of months when it comes to harvest time. So that's really, really cool. So anyway, let's crack on. The animals are fine. Obviously, we don't need to worry about maintaining them or looking at dealing with them at all at the minute. We've got a little bit of wool here. We've got 154 litres, and we have got 129 litres of goat milk. Now, at the minute, there isn't anywhere to sell. I think I did mention this in the first episode, didn't I? But at the minute, there isn't anywhere to actually sell goat milk or our regular cow milk on the map, so I do need to look at that, and I need to place something down, whether that's investing in a proper dairy or whether that's just a place down, just a cheap sell anything sell point. I don't know yet. I think, if I'm honest, it would be more financially beneficial for me to invest in some kind of little dairy, perhaps, but I'll have a look at that into the future, of course. We do, because obviously that would be another income stream, wouldn't it, if we can do something to do with milk and use the productions in that way to turn that milk into bigger money again on top of that. So anyway, yeah, that's something to think about. But at the minute, when it comes to the fields, I do need to be mindful of the fact that obviously the initial plan right now is to cultivate. Essentially, we're going to have 3 fields to cultivate. We've got the wheat field there that we've just dealt with, of course. We've got the big area of grass over there. And eventually, once we've done the next bit of mowing in the big field right down there at the end of the lane, we're going to be cultivating that as well. So but the money side of it, we're going to need to lime it and treat the soil and get the pH value right. Now, that could cost a pretty penny. We've obviously we've not made any money yet so far. We are only in episode 2, but I haven't earned anything yet. So I think it will be a case of potentially getting some cultivating work done and maybe taking on a couple of contracts, or at least one, just to get some money in the bank to help pay for what I assume is going to be quite a costly lime session, I suppose. And we still have to buy seeds, and we still have to buy fertilizer as well. So there's all those to keep in mind. Because let's jump into the menu, for example, and have a look at what we've got available in the contracts at the minute. So take no note of the fact that these images are black. I've got my NPCs turned off. So those visible NPCs that you see standing around maps and just staring at you as you walk past, there is a method of turning those off, and I've done that within the XMLs of the game, so that's why there are no visible characters in these boxes. So, but yeah, the contracts do still seem to work, so I have checked on that. But anyway, so contracts that aren't going to cost us too much money in respect of like buying in herbicide, for example, for a spraying contract. We've got a cultivating one just under 34,000 there. We've got a big one here, field 63. That's a pretty decent sized field at just under $54,000 there. So that could be a good one to take on. It will take a while, but I'm happy to do that, because that's essentially, we've got the tool, we've got the tractors, we've got a plough, so it would just take time. So to get 54 grand into the bank, I think would be an extremely sensible thing to do, but that's going to be moving forward into the future. Now, as we stand right now, currently, it is obviously the next in-game day. It's the 1st of September. It's the first of our 2-day months. But for me as well, it's also the next day in real life onwards from yesterday when we were sorting out that the straw there. And a mod has come out yesterday. I got a big shout out to Dutch Modelling over on my Discord, who posted a link to it in the over on my Discord in the mod section. We've known that this has been on its way for a little while now, and it's been one that I've been I was very excited for, because it's something that just changes a little bit of a visual aspect of the game. Now, it's called Cab Cinematic. It is currently in its beta form. I will post a link to the mod maker's GitHub page in the video description below. Obviously it's for PC only. But if you're interested in this kind of thing, I highly recommend you go get it, because it's really, really cool. But yeah, it's called Cab Cinematic. The modder is called Templeton Peck. So those of you who are of a particular age, who may have been fans of a particular TV show back in the 80s, will know exactly who Templeton Peck is. But yeah, it's an awesome name for that modder there. But it's really, really cool. And like I say, so if I jump into this cab here, we don't need to worry about turning the engine on, but I will do anyway. But if we open the door, you don't have to open the door for this, but watch when I get out. How cool is that, ladies and gentlemen? Is that not the coolest thing? Now, like I say, it's in beta mode at the minute. There isn't a cinematic at the minute anyway for getting into the cab, and it doesn't make a difference whether you have the door closed or not. Fortunately, on this particular tractor, which we're going to be using for the cultivating, this one does allow me to open the doors. But if I just get out, it does still. It goes forward with the cab cinematic sequence, regardless of whether the door's open or not. But the fact that on this one anyway, the fact that you can open that door and get out like that, you can still move around as you go through the cinematic. But it's properly cool. It really is. But yeah, so it's like I say, it's in beta mode at the minute. The version that I've currently got activated here is literally, I think it was released sometime early today. So yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend you go get it, because I think it's really, really cool. Now, of course, it's not one of these mods I think that you'd call a quality of life mod, but it's I don't know whether it's a quality mod. It's not a quality of life because it doesn't change a particular function in the game. It just it adds a bit of flair to obviously getting in and out of your tractors. It seems to just work with tractors at the minute. It doesn't do anything with my pickup truck, for example. I have just tried it, which is fine. You know, like I say, the whole process is fine for me at the minute. It's just really, really cool, I think. So yeah, so Templeton Peck, ladies and gentlemen. Like I say, the link to Templeton Peck's GitHub will be in the video description below, so please do go check it out and give it a download. But so far so good. It seems to work pretty well. There we go. I can get out backwards as well, actually. So, right, let's forgive me, I know I wasn't lined up particularly straight there, but that'll do. And like I say, I'm not too sure if there are any plans for this cab cinematic mod to include a getting in the cab cinematic or not. I'm not too sure. Either way, it's all good. It's all good as far as I'm concerned, because what just that little cinematic sequence getting out of the cab, I think, is absolutely brilliant. It really is. So anyway, let's crack on. I'm going to go and run this cultivator in the big area of grass field, like I did mention in the last episode as well. I'm not too sure, those of you who did watch the first episode, firstly I've got to say a big thank you to all of you for giving it such a wonderful reception. I'm really glad that you all seem to enjoy the idea of this series, the idea of starting something a bit new for me anyway, starting in debt and building up and building up. You all seem to be relatively on board with that, and I'm really grateful for that. It's nice to do something different for a change instead of just the usual let's plays, that kind of thing. It is nice. Better put my lights on a bit there. It's quite dark, isn't it? But yeah, it's nice to start taking on something with just a little bit of a different start to it. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with this area of grass here that we were working in initially in the last episode. This one here. Now this is the this kind of, I've got to get used to that actually. It's so cool, isn't it? This was the smaller area of grass that we cut in the last episode. Now, of course, we got a handful of grass bales off of it, so it was very helpful in that respect. But it was a little bit awkward to work with courseplay, as I like to do most of my field work with using courseplay, so I can go off and make kind of cinematics out of it and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just a little bit awkward. So whether I the one option I did have in mind, and this could help me gain a few more dollars into the bank, is potentially, because I do actually have a chainsaw already. I've spent that $1,000 at the very beginning before setting up, so we've got a chainsaw. But whether I fell a few of these trees and then raise this ground here with a cultivator and then just get rid of this little strip of non-arable land here, and tying all of this together to make a bit more of a workable field. I might do that. That could be an idea. Then we can get some money into the bank from the trees. These ones do look a little bit awkward to work with, if I remember correctly. But we shall see. In fact, let me just see if they are. If they do still seem to work with the chainsaw and all that. So yeah, but it's something worth considering, isn't it? Just an option to fell a load of trees, chop them down. We haven't actually got any trailers or anything to help deal with managing wood and towing wood and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but it's worth something to think about. But this bigger area, of course, that I discovered was mine in the last episode, we're definitely going to be this is what we're going to be doing right away. So let's get the cultivator unfolded. There we are. Now bring up the F1 menu. Where's my thing there now? So lower cultivator. Have I not got that allow create fields mod on? I don't think I have I? Oops. Back in a second. Right, sorry about that, folks. It was a little bit of a keybind issue there, but nonetheless, it's all sorted. It turns out that if I actually jump into the tractor, as you can see from the top left there, I've got the tractor selected there. And if I bring up the F1 menu, I've got the option there to limit to fields, but previously when I had the cultivator selected, that option is no longer there. So it was my mistake, I think. I do actually have the cultivator create fields mod activated in the game. I kind of thought I had. I'd never go anywhere without that one. But anyway, nonetheless, we're working now, and we can collect. We can start raising the ground and turning this into some nice arable soil. So I'm going to crack on with this in my usual fashion. I'm going to throw a bit of music behind this job. I think what I will do, I'm going to compile this whole field work here of this grass field into a cinematic, and then I think I'm off camera. I'm gonna nip over and get that wheat field done as well. Yeah, so by the time I pick you all guys back up, we'll have both fields cultivated, ready to go. So I'm gonna crack on with this, throw it into a little bit of a cinematic sequence, and I'll see you in a couple of hours' time. I honestly don't think I'm ever going to tire of that. I think that is absolutely brilliant. I know it's not necessarily quite as immersive as it would be if you couldn't open the doors of your tractor, but still, I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's a genius thing. So, Templeton Peck, ladies and gentlemen, the link will be in the video description below. Cab Cinematic, it's an absolute genius thing. It really is. So anyway, job done. 2 fields done. If I just jump very quickly into flight mode just to have a bit of a look from above. So the wheat field is all done and dusted. That's ready for a coat of lime and a bit of a drilling in the near future. And if we just take a quick zip over here, we can actually get a better idea and just see just how big this area of land is. It's you can't actually tell from the map PDA and click on this area of land and find out how big it is, but you can with the course play like in-game menu PDA thing. You can tell from there. So that is actually just over 12.8 acres, that area of land there. So it's a decent chunk of now arable land, which is great. So I'm dead happy with that. It's not even 9 o'clock in the morning, and we've sorted out a little bit of cultivating. So the only one left to do now, like I said before, is to get the big grass field down there, that meadowland, mowed and baled up. Like I said, I think in the first episode there's a strong consideration to wrap most of that grass and let it ferment and sell it for silage. We will put a few of the bales away in the storage shed there just to stock us up a little bit, but then in the future we'll be able to turn that to arable as well and get something planted in there, because we are within the planting window for 3 crops. We can do wheat, we can do barley, and we can also do canola. So if we've got 3 fields to drill and 3 crops available to drill, then we'll do 1 of each, and just for a bit of variety, and it'll enable me to do a bit of rotation in here as well. With this having been wheat before, we'll possibly throw some canola or barley in this one and see how that goes. But yeah, the big expense to come is going to be obviously liming these 3 areas of land, of course, with them not having anything in there at all, or very little anyway. That could cost us a pretty penny, but it's got to be done. So all that is good. Looking forward to it. But I think for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, having now sorted that cultivating out, I am going to call it here. Thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed the video and found it a little bit of fun and a little bit interesting. As always, if you're new to the channel and you like my content, you like the way I'm doing things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and jumping on board, joining the channel. Please give the video a like if you can. It does do wonders. It helps the YouTube algorithm do its thing. And also, if you are in the mindset of looking to support the channel, there are a number of ways you can do that. There is my Giants Partner promo code, if any of you are looking to purchase Farming Simulator 25 or any of its add-ons or DLCs. There is coffee.com if you'd like to buy me a coffee. And there is also my G-Portal affiliate link if any of you are in the market for purchasing a multiplayer server to play with your mates. Any help and support with any of these, ladies and gentlemen, would be massively appreciated. So, thank you very much for your time again, ladies and gentlemen. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.